to be making cookies and cream donuts. It is Valentine's Day, as you know. What better way to celebrate the holiday rammed down our throats than ramming some cookies and cream donuts into our faces. Perfect for either giving them to your significant other or just eating all of them yourself on the couch. I don't judge. So let's get started. So first things first, what you're gonna need to do is get yourself an alcoholic beverage because, I mean, it's just not baking without alcohol. It's this, and it's gonna be delicious. So next thing, you're gonna need some ingredients, I guess. And so first you're gonna need 2/3 cup of cocoa, 1/3 quarter cup of flour. I would show you, but it's a really big bag and I just don't want to get into that. 1 cup of brown sugar, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 3/4 teaspoon of salt, 2 large eggs, 3/4 cup of milk, 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, 2 teaspoons of white vinegar, and 1 stick of melted butter. So that's just for the donuts. We're gonna stick with that for the first little bit, cut it in chunks, do it that way. So let's get started. Now, goes without saying, you're gonna need one of these bad boys for baking. I got mine at Michael's. It was like 16 bucks. They're surprisingly really hard to find. I asked a pastry chef and she didn't even own one. So, yeah. So I only got one because I'm poor, but the recipe calls for having 2. We'll just split it up. First things first, you're gonna preheat your oven to 350, and then you're going to lightly grease your donut, I kid you not, a donut cavity pan. Okay? Let's go ahead and do that. Way more than you need. Ah! Don't do it that way. Next, you're gonna mix in 2/3 cup of cocoa, 1/3 cup of flour, a cup of lightly packed brown sugar, teaspoon of your baking powder, and of your baking soda, then 3/4 teaspoon of salt. Next, you're going to whisk the shit out of the dry ingredients that you just put in this bowl. I'm disgusted to find that I don't own a whisk. I don't know where it went, but use your hands, I don't care. Make sure everything is all incorporated properly. Next, the wet ingredients. So push that off to the side until you're ready for the next part. So the recipe keeps calling for a whisk, and I think it's doing it just to strictly piss me off. So we're gonna use a fork because it's the same thing. So you're gonna put in your 2 eggs. And you're not gonna get any shells in there, like I just did. Okay. 3/4 cups of milk. On my first real vanilla extract today, and holy shit, is it more expensive than the artificial stuff. Definitely need to see some sort of perk to that. So you're gonna put in a teaspoon of your vanilla extract, and then 2 teaspoons of your white vinegar. Gonna whisk it all together. And you're gonna do half your cup of butter and melt it. Now, I'm not fancy in any sense of the word, so we're just gonna throw it in the microwave. You can put it on the stove, put it in the microwave. We're gonna go the microwave route today. So once your butter is melted, you're going to add your wet ingredients, including the butter, into your dry ingredients. Then you're just gonna whisk that shit together, son. Near the end, it should hopefully look something like this. Most of the lumps are out. It's all mushed in there together. Next, you're going to get a, what are those called? Plastic bags? Ziploc bags? You're gonna grab a Ziploc bag. You're going to fill your plastic bag or piping bag if you actually have one and you're a professional into your bag and pipe it into your donut tin. Doesn't get much more simple than that. Evidently, it's really thick. You're gonna zip it on up by dropping it. So in the end, you're gonna have something that looks like this, which, let's be honest, looks just like a big bag of shit. Get a pair of scissors, and you're gonna cut a hole on the end of the bag so that you can pipe it into your pan, or your cavity, your pan cavity. You have your pan like this, and you're gonna wanna fill it about 3/4 of the way full. Next, you're going to throw these in the oven and bake them for 12 to 15 minutes. So while that's baking, I'm gonna go ahead and make the icing for it. So, as I promised, I'll give you the list of ingredients now. What you need is powdered sugar, more milk, more vanilla extract, and Oreos. If you thought I was gonna get the non-double stuffed, you just don't know me at all. I just realized that sounded really dirty. You're supposed to sift this, but I don't know where my sifter is either, so probably with my whisk. So you need 2 cups. Kind of sift it in. Four tablespoons. I keep looking at the side, so I'm looking all over the place here. 4 tablespoons of milk. Tablespoon, right? Yes, tablespoons of milk. Then you're gonna add your 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract again. Oh, look, it's got a little hole on top. I didn't know that last time. Alright, so you're gonna mix it all together. It's really, really fucking sugary. So it's been about 15, no, it hasn't been 15. It's been about 12 minutes, so let's check on our donuts. Those are definitely done. It's just me, or does that not look double stuffed to you? It looks like regular stuff back in the 90s. And then they chinsed out. And now this is double stuffed. Thanks, Oreo. So for the crushing process, what I'm gonna straight up do is just beat the shit out of it. Put the Oreos in this bag. Put them on the counter. Crushed Oreos. Now we're gonna take our finished donuts from the oven. Good, right? Look at that. They look like donuts. I didn't expect that. Anyways, so you're gonna take the done donuts. I'm just gonna go ahead and put them on a plate just so I can finish them off here. Then you're gonna take the icing that we made, and we're just gonna go ahead and dip the top in. Get that all in there. So since it looked more like a glaze than a topped donut, kind of go on a different route and just spooning on some of the extra. Now, normally I would never say this, but the double stuff may have been a bad choice because mostly it's turned into kind of a dirt-like paste because of all the extra. But I'm sure it's fine. So by the end, you're gonna have something that looks like this. Not too shabby, right? So there you have it. Cookies and cream donuts.